Hello, my name's Sean Lewis. I'm the Chief Exec of Ciphr. Well, I'm based in Marlow, so I try and get in about 8:15, probably do some one-on-ones in the morning. We might have a couple of team meetings throughout the day. We'll have special projects that various people around the company are involved in, so we might have an update on that. And just generally catching up with people and just to make sure that the machine of Ciphr is up and running and working well. So my perfect day, let's have a little think about this. I would probably be waking up in Devon, where we live. It would be sunny. The dogs would be barking like, "Hey, Dad's awake, let's go." I'd be taking the dogs outside. They'd be having a stroll around, doing what dogs do. I'm sure you know what I mean by that. I'd probably go back in, have a nice coffee, leisurely walk down to a restaurant for breakfast, followed by a couple of hours walk up the cliffs, followed by a nice long lunch, probably watching Liverpool beat Manchester United in the afternoon, followed by dinner. And all this is with my family and my two dogs, so that's important. Yeah, that would be a really good day. And I had that day last weekend when Liverpool beat Tottenham, and we did all that walking and went to all those restaurants and pubs. It was great. Yeah, that's my perfect day, really. I'm easy to please. I got into IT by accident. I was going to study philosophy at university, and a friend of mine who happened to be a postman said, "Fred Titley, if you're watching, this is your fault." He said, "You're crazy, you need to go into business." So I went through clearing at the university, I think it was called UCAS back then, which is where you rang up and changed course, quickly changed course and ended up doing something called Business Information Systems, which led me into a year placement with a company called Grand Met, and I learned how to program. I was really bad at that. So when I got a proper job after university, I quickly realised I wasn't very good at programming, and a chief sales officer took me under his wing and said, "Wow, you can talk, so why don't you move into sales?" And that's where it all started. So getting into IT was actually pure accident, but it's the best thing that could have happened to me at that early age, because I've loved my career ever since. How I got here more recently, it's all about networking, isn't it? And I bumped into someone who happened to know someone who happened to know Ciphr. And Chris Berry, who was doing my job before, wanted to go and do something else. And ECI, who are our investors, were looking for a new chief exec. And someone said, "Well, I know Sean and I know Ciphr," and plugged us together. And it took several months because I worked for a company called Go2, and it took me 6 months to leave there. So I felt like I knew Ciphr really well before I arrived. But yeah, that's all that happened. It was very romantic, and it happened over dinner, but it was a business dinner. My very first job was actually, I was a bit of a workaholic. My mum and dad didn't have a huge amount of money, and I coveted money quite a lot when I was 14, 15. So I had a paper round, which I bought from the local post office. So I'm from Mid Wales, Shropshire, and there was a paper called the Shropshire Star, and I bought the rights to the paper round. Well, my dad did really, he gave me some money, and I bought that. I paid him back within a month, which I promised to do, and ran that for a few years. So that was probably technically my first job. My first real money generating job was in a meat factory, and I would not recommend anybody listening to this to do that. It was hard work, but for 6 weeks doing nights, I saved enough money to buy a car. So it served its purpose, but it's not a factory I ever want to go to again. It genuinely is the people. I've been here, I think, February, March, April, so 3.5 months. I haven't met anybody I don't like. Everybody seems to really enjoy working at Ciphr, and we do good things. We're all about people, and we build solutions that allow organisations to really look after people and get the best out of them. And I think that just feeds into the DNA of the company. I mean, everyone's pretty happy here. Even with me around, they're pretty happy. So yeah, I guess that's the best thing about Ciphr, it's the people. Which value do I embody the most? Well, that's a great question. I've talked about trust. That's a huge thing. I love authenticity. You know, my work and personal life drift into each other. There's grey everywhere. So, you know, I don't have too many secrets. What you see is what you get. And I think that authentic style allows people to relax, do their best work, and trust each other. So if I had to pick one, it would be trust, very closely followed by authenticity, I think. Yeah, they're my two. I know you asked for one. Purely and simply because we offer the UK a seamlessly integrated solution for HR, whether that's from recruitment or to retirement and everything you need in between. Ciphr offers that. And critically, that's all we do. We really concentrate on that sector and those set of solutions, and we try and employ people that are passionate about helping us solve those issues, and we don't do anything else, so we're not distracted. I mean, if I think of my two closest competitors, they are very successful, but they do a lot of different things. And I think Ciphr's unique in the fact that we're 100% focused on HR, 100% focused on people, and therefore that makes us pretty unique in the UK. Yeah, this has come from someone called Peter Grant, who I worked with at Salesforce.com. He had two bits of advice actually. Number one was, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, Lewis. Use them in that ratio. So always listen to people more than talk. Really, really important. And the second piece of advice that he gave me was don't put off to tomorrow what you could finish today. So I think if you do both those things, you end up in a pretty good place. Right, well, I've done the bungee jump. I'm not good at heights, never ever do that again. I am going to hire a Winnebago, because I've got dogs, you see, I'm a bit limited. And I'm going to go around the whole of the UK with Helen and our dogs. And we're going to take 3 or 4 months. We don't know where we're going to go, other than we're going to go around the UK. And I won't be pushed for time, and I won't have an agenda. That is definitely on my bucket list. I've never done that because I've always had a career. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that day.